Good morning everybody. Today we are dealing with a new topic, that is plant growth and development. Okay? So we know very well that one of the characteristic feature of living organism, that is growth, right? So how will you define the growth? So growth is an irreversible and permanent increase in the size, mass, volume, shape of a cell, organ or organism. So when we define the growth, how we define the growth? It is an irreversible, permanent increase, irreversible and permanent increase in the size of a cell, organ or organism. So this is the definition of growth. Okay. Now what about the growth in unicellular organism? So in unicellular organism, growth is nothing but increase in the number of cells, right? Okay, because if we consider unicellular organism, for example bacteria, if that bacterial cell size increases, it's a negligible increase. So in unicellular organism, growth means increase in the cell number, and in multicellular organism, growth means increase in the mass, increase in the size, increase in or change in the shape of an organism, right? So this is nothing but growth. Now if we consider the only criteria of growth, that is increase in mass, right? So growth can be further classified as intrinsic growth and extrinsic growth. Intrinsic or extrinsic growth. Intrinsic growth means what? When the similar kind of material is deposited from within, from inner side, and hence the mass of that organism increases, then such a growth is known as intrinsic growth, right? So what is intrinsic growth? Deposition of similar material from within or from inner side, right? So generally this kind of growth is observed in growth in living organisms. Growth in living organisms. Okay. Whereas extrinsic growth means what? If the material is deposited, deposition of similar material from outside. It means if it is deposited from outside, that is if it is deposited from outside, that is बाहेरच्या बाजूने जर ते material add झालं, and as a result of which the mass of that substance increases, mass of that whatever is there is increases, then it is known as extrinsic growth. Okay, so such a kind of growth is observed in non-living things. Non-living things means which things? For example, the rocks which are present at the bottom of ocean, due to continuous deposition of calcareous material, right, the mass of that rock increases. So if we consider the only criteria of growth, that is increase in the mass, growth can be further classified into two types as intrinsic growth and extrinsic growth. Intrinsic means where the growth occurs from inside, from within, and as a result the mass of organism increases. Such a growth is very commonly observed in living organisms, and when the similar kind of material deposited from outer side, and as a result of which the mass increases, the growth is known as extrinsic growth, which is very commonly observed in non-living things. For example, the sand boulders, sand mountains are there. Due to wind, sand may get deposited and the mass or size of that mountain or boulders increases, right? Then rocks present at the bottom of ocean, due to deposition of calcareous material from outer side, the mass of that rock increases. Such a growth is known as extrinsic growth. Okay, is it clear? So when we talk about growth, especially, the growth occurs in living organism due to cell division, right? As a result of cell division, from parent cell, new daughter cells are formed. If the organism is unicellular, then increase in the number of cells represents the growth. Whereas in multicellular organism, due to cell division, the mass of that organism increases. So growth on the basis of how it is measured, it can be of two types, qualitative and quantitative. So when we talk about the growth, is it able to measure the growth? Yes, one can measure the growth, right? So on the basis of that, there are two aspects of growth, that is quantitative growth and qualitative growth. So what is quantitative aspect of growth, right? So growth can be measurable. Growth is measured. How growth is measured? In terms of mass, in terms of volume, in terms of length, in terms of girth, that is diameter, right? In terms of increase in the cell number in case of unicellular organisms. Okay, so growth can be measured. So if we are able to measure the growth, then it is known as quantitative aspect of growth, right? So growth is measured in terms of size, right? Length, height or length, right? Then girth, surface area, then in terms of dry weight, in terms of cell number, etc. So this aspect of growth is known as quantitative growth. Qualitative means what? Where it is related with the development and differentiation of organism, right? So qualitative aspect is related with development and differentiation of living organisms. It may be related with a cell, tissue, organ, organism, etc. Right? Now, development is a sequential progress in the cell, organ or organism, right? When development occurs in any living organism, it occurs in a gradual manner. Suddenly development doesn't occur, right? Okay, in any plant when we observe, gradually that plant develops root, stem, leaves, flowers, etc. Right? So there is a gradual process. So development is a sequential changes or progressive changes that occurs in the living organism. And differentiation means it is a more complex aspect of growth. Right? So what is this differentiation? Right? एखादं झाड जर हळूहळू ग्रो व्हायला ते झाड आधी सुरुवातीला छोटं असतं, that plantlet is very small in its early stages of development, but gradually that plant become matured, become large in size, become old. So this is development. Gradually leaves, new branches, then increase in the stem in that plant is observed. Below the soil it shows increase in the root, etc. Development of new branches in the root. Okay, so this process is development. But when the plant becomes mature and when it enters into reproductive phase, suddenly the vegetative axillary bud may develop into floral bud, and later that floral bud develops into a flower. So this aspect is differentiation. Okay, so we are not able to measure the development and differentiation. Okay, right? Axillary buds conversion floral bud मध्ये झालं, axillary buds डिफरन्सिएशन म्हणूया आपण फ्लोरल बड मध्ये झालं. हा बदल, हा जो काही चेंज आहे प्लांट मधला, तो आपल्याला मोजता येईल का? तर नाही मोजता येईल. इज इट क्लिअर? बट क्वालिटेटिव्हली वी कॅन ऑब्झर्व दिस चेंज. अरे आतापर्यंत तर त्या बड पासून आपल्याला लीफ मिळत होतं, ब्रांच मिळत होती, राईट? जनरली एक्झिलरी बर्ड्स इन प्लांट्स, apical buds, when the plant is in its vegetative growth phase, develops into leaves or branches, but suddenly at maturity the same vegetative bud is differentiated to form floral bud. We may visually observe the change, but we are not able to measure this change. So differentiation in plant is a kind of complex state of growth. It's a complex part of growth, but it is observed visually in the plant, right? So these are two aspects of growth, quantitative and qualitative. Quantitative aspect means where we are able to measure the growth, right? So in which terms we can measure the growth? Let's see. So some examples are given in book with respect to this quantitative aspect of growth, right? Now, in maize, root apical meristem cell. Root apical meristem cell increases in the size up to 17,500 times per hour, right? This much increase is observed in a particular cell, right? In watermelon, cell increases due to water content, right? Increases in the size up to 3.5 lakh times, right? Then in root or shoot, we can measure of length or height. In case of root and shoot, the increases in the height, or we can easily measure the length simply by using the normal scale. We can measure the increase in the length of the stem, that is the main stem of the plant, and root of the plant, right? So that is the measuring the growth in terms of length, right? Then increase in surface area of leaf. एखादा लीफ सुरुवातीला छोटा असतं, नंतर त्याची साईज वाढत जाते, म्हणजे आपण त्याचा सरफेस एरिया सहज मोजू शकतो, राईट? सो increase in the surface area of leaf, increase in the dry weight of organism, increase in the dry weight of plant. Dry weight means what? There are two types, that is fresh weight and dry weight. Fresh weight means where we can measure the weight along with the water present in that cells of organism, right? So that is generally termed as fresh weight. That is whatever biomass present in that living organism, that represents its fresh weight. But when we remove the water from the cells, whatever left, that is nothing but dry weight, okay? So increase in the dry weight of plant or any organism, right? Then increase in the cell number. Increase in the cell number, especially in unicellular organism. So this aspect is nothing but quantitative aspect of the growth, right? Where we can measure growth in terms of length or height or diameter, increase in the girth of the stem, especially in those plants which undergo secondary growth. In anatomy of flowering plant, we are seeing that secondary growth is mainly observed in dicot plants and gymnospermic plants, where after some specific time period, plant starts increasing in the girth or diameter of its stem and root, which is mainly due to the cambium, right? And especially lateral cambium present in the dicot plant, that helps to increase the diameter of that plant, okay? So that is nothing but increase in the diameter or girth. So we can measure that diameter, increase in diameter or girth of root and shoot, especially in which plants? Dicot plants and gymnosperms. So these are all represent the quantitative aspect of growth, right? So quantitative aspect can be measured in terms of length or height, diameter or girth, surface area, dry weight, okay? Then cell number in case of unicellular organism, increase in the size due to the absorption or content of water, cytoplasmic or protoplasmic content, etc. Okay. So generally root apical meristem cells in maize increases or shows the division in the size increase in the cells, number of cells. that is up to 17,500 cells per hour. So see the division ability, cells per hour. Whereas 3.5 lakh times increase in the size is observed due to absorption or due to content of water in water mantle cell, and so on. So these are quantitative aspect of growth. Is it clear? Now, when we observe the growth in plants and in animals, we may observe some basic difference, right? So what are the basic difference in the growth? So growth in plants and in animals, especially in plants. In plants, growth is generally indeterminate and localized. In plants, the only dividing tissue which is present, that is meristematic tissue. Which kind of meristems are present on the basis of position? Apical meristem, intercalary meristem and lateral meristem. This we had already seen. Okay. So apical meristem means what? Apical meristem means which is present at the apex of root and at the apex of shoot. What is its main function? Apical meristem helps in primary growth. Primary growth means always growth in height or length of the respective part. Okay. So especially root and shoot or root and stem are the organs in the plant which shows growth throughout the life. They are continuously growing parts. Till the death of that plant, these plant parts shows growth. Why? Due to presence of apical meristem. So this growth is unlimited, hence it is known as indeterminate. Indeterminate means unlimited growth. But all plant organs do not show this kind of growth. It means only root and shoot and their branches shows unlimited growth. But leaves, buds, flowers, fruits, seeds in the plant shows determinate growth. Determinate growth means limited growth. They grow up to a certain size and then the growth of these plant parts stops. Okay. But mainly the central plant axis in the plant shows unlimited growth. So growth in plant is indeterminate. Even it is irregular. Is there any specific shape of plant? No. There is no definite shape observed in the plant. So growth is irregular. Okay. And it is localized. Why localized? Because only some specific plant parts shows growth. Rest of the plant part shows limited growth. Which part shows unlimited growth? Root and shoot. Hence localized. Why? Because they possess specific meristematic tissue in them. Root and shoot apical meristem. Intercalary meristem, which is generally present at the node or at the base of internode, that also helps in primary growth of plant. That is, it also increases the height or length of the plant. Okay. And lateral meristems are the meristems which are like, for example, interfascicular cambium and cork cambium, which are especially present in dicot plants and activated only at the time of secondary growth, which helps to increase the diameter of stem and root in the dicot plant, right? So again, the growth is localized. Why? Because these meristems, cork and interfascicular cambia, present only in certain part of plant. They are not uniformly distributed in the plant. Hence, the growth in plant is always indeterminate, that is unlimited, and localized. It means these growing tissues, dividing tissues are restricted only at certain regions of the plant. They are not uniformly distributed. Hence, the growth in plant is indeterminate and localized. Whereas in animals, the growth is determinate and diffused. Determinate means animal's body generally have limited growth. Animal's body can grow generally it grows up to puberty. Puberty means when the animal's body attains a maturity, reproductive maturity. Once that maturity comes, the growth generally stops. Okay. And why it is diffused? Because animal body always follow a specific symmetry. Most of the animals follow bilateral symmetry. Some lower animals like starfish may show radial symmetry. Okay. But radial आहे म्हणून किती मोठा होतो का starfish नाही. It grow only up to certain limit. Beyond that certain stage, there is no growth observed in animals. And the growth when occurs in animals, they follow a certain symmetry and they show uniform growth of their body parts. म्हणजे असं होत नाही की आपला एकच हात किती पण लांब होतोय. प्लांट मध्ये एकच ब्रांच किती पण लेंथ मध्ये वाढू शकते, किती पण ती लॉंग होऊ शकते. ओके, सो द ग्रोथ इन plant is irregular because there is no definite shape, but in animals there is a definite shape, there is a definite symmetry of the body. Okay, so in animals the growth is determinate, that is limited, and it is diffuse means it is uniform, right? Animal body shows uniform growth. Okay, because the growing tissue in the animal's body is uniformly distributed following a certain kind of symmetry. Most of the animals shows bilateral symmetry. आपल्या बॉडीमध्ये पण बायलॅटरल सिमेट्री आहे. एका विशिष्ट शेप मध्ये आपली बॉडी आली की जनरली ग्रोथ काय होते, स्टॉप होते. ओके, सो इन एनिमल्स द ग्रोथ इज डिटर्मिनेट अँड डिफ्यूज्ड. इज इट क्लियर? ओके, which is the first step of growth in plants, right? So first step of growth in plants is seed germination, right? We're going to discuss these processes of seed germination, which different kinds of seed germination are there later. But before going to that, now let's discuss how growth takes place. What are the different phases of growth in living organisms, especially in plants, right? So phases of growth. So let's see phases of growth. Phases of growth. So in case of any living organism generally, or in case of any cell, tissue, organ, there are three phases of growth, right? So first one, phase of cell division, right? Or it is also known as meristematic phase in case of plant. Okay? Then second one, phase of cell elongation. Cell elongation, or it is also known as elongation phase. And third one, phase of maturation, cell maturation, or it is also known as maturation phase, or steady stationary phase. Okay, so phase of cell division means what? Now this we can understand very well with the help of root structure, especially structure of a typical root, especially from its apex to base when we observe the regions in the root. Apical part shows the presence of meristematic zone, so that is root meristematic region or zone of meristematic cells. Then after that, just above that, towards the base, when we move, there is a zone of cell elongation, and then last zone, that is zone of maturation. So how gradually this occurs in any living cell. So first phase of growth is phase of cell division or meristematic phase. It is the phase where the cells which are able to divide, those are continuously dividing. In plants especially, the only dividing tissue is meristematic tissue. It is mostly present at the apex of root and shoot. And in that shoot apical meristem or root apical meristem, you can easily observe that thousands of cells are there, but those are very small in size, having a very thin cell wall, non-vacuolated. Vacuoles are generally absent. Okay, protoplasmic content is also very less. Distinct nucleus is there. Reserve food is absent because it is continuously dividing, so it is metabolically highly active cells. Okay, so in this region, the cells are continuously dividing. One cell divides and gives two daughter cells, two cells gives four cells gives 16 cells, 8 cells, 8 cells gives 16, and so on. Continuous division occurs. Always the cell get doubled because the cell division which occurs in this cell, that is mitotic cell division. So where a single parent cell divides to give two daughter cells. Continuous division takes place. But due to this division, what happens? The number of daughter cells increases, but increase in the length of that plant part, or increase in the size of that plant part, increase in the mass of that plant part, much not observed, right? So little growth occurs in this region, but number of daughter cells formed are huge. Millions of cells are formed. Okay, so that phase means phase of cell division. It is the phase where cell absorb nutrients in large amount and they are continuously dividing. So number of daughter cells formed huge, but increase in length as such is not observed. So it's a phase where the growth is a bit slow. For a very small increase in length, it will take longer time in this phase. So this phase is known as phase of cell division or meristematic phase. Now second phase of growth is phase of cell elongation. Phase of cell division is also known as lag phase. Now when we observe later the growth curve, you can imagine these phases. So phase of cell division corresponds to lag phase in case of growth curve. So how it corresponds, that we will discuss later. So it is also known as lag phase. It means it is the phase of growth where the growth occurs slowly. Growth occurs, but much increase is not observed, but number of cells definitely increases. So that is lag phase or slow phase of growth. Then phase of cell elongation or elongation phase. It is the phase where cell is now potentially ready to show the growth, right? So this is the phase where the cell literally increases in the size. In case of plant cells, it is the region where the cells generally lost the ability of cell division. And now instead of increasing in the number, the cells start increasing in the length literally, right? So this is the phase where the cytoplasmic or protoplasmic content of cell increases, right? Now the volume of cytoplasm inside the cell increases, right? Vacuoles start developing inside the cell, right? Then the stretching of cell wall is observed. So more amount of cytoplasmic content synthesized by the cell. Cell undergo modification, that is vacuoles are developed. So cytoplasmic modifications takes place. Various kinds of inorganic, organic substances are produced by the cell. Excess amount of cell wall material is deposited in the cell, so that even after stretching of cell wall, there should not be breaking occurs, right? So literally, when we observe the growth in this phase, accelerated or very fast increase in the length, increase in the girth can be observed in this phase. So this is the phase where we may observe visual growth in plant part, right? And I told you one of the example in last lectures, right? That is, कधी कधी घरी आई आपल्या एखादं झाड आणते, कुंडीत लावते, राईट? रोज पाणी घालते, काही होत नाही, आणि सडनली त्या झाडामध्ये स्टेमचा एखादा पार्ट आपल्याला खूप वाढलेला दिसतो, म्हणजे लिटरली इन्क्रीज इन द लेंथ इज ऑब्झर्व्ड. सो दॅट फेज इज नथिंग बट फेज ऑफ सेल इलॉंगेशन. This kind of visual increase in the plant part is observed only due to phase of cell elongation. So literally the growth become very fast, accelerated in this phase, and hence this phase is called log phase. See, lag, L-A-G, log, L-O-G, log, or it is also known as exponential phase. Exponential phase means where the growth occurs very fast. We may observe visual increase in the plant part, right? So that is phase of cell elongation. Now phase of cell maturation. It is the phase where cells now become permanent, right? It means now in this phase every cell has its own definite size, shape, structure. Further improvement, further increase in the shape of the cell, in the size of the cell is not possible, because now cell completely lost the ability of cell division, right? And now it will become permanent. Rather, it is the phase where the cells undergo differentiation, right? म्हणजे इनिशियली मेरिस्टेमॅटिक सेल आहे जी कंटिन्यू डिवाइड होतीये, बऱ्याच डॉटर सेल्स तिने तयार केल्या, मग त्यातल्या काही डॉटर सेलनी काय केलं की त्यांची सेल डिव्हिजन ॲबिलिटी लॉस झाली, मग आता त्यांनी इन्क्रीज व्हायला सुरुवात केली साईजमध्ये, त्यांचं लेंथ लिटरली इन्क्रीज झालं, नवीन सायटोप्लाझ्मिक कंटेंट, नवीन इनऑर्गॅनिक ऑर्गॅनिक सबस्टन्सेस, vacuoles start developing. So such cytoplasmic modifications occurs inside the cell. Cell wall material is produced in huge amount that is deposited in the cell wall. Cell wall becomes so tough now, though it is stretched. Okay. So everything happens in the phase of cell elongation. And now, आता सगळं सेलचं काम करून झालं. आता सेलला काहीतरी काम करावं लागेल तरच प्लांट सेलला राहू दे, राईट? आपण काम केलं तर आपल्याला खायला प्यायला मिळेल ना, फुकट कोण देणार आहे, हो की नाही? So now it is the phase where cell differentiated on the basis of its function. And now after phase of elongation, some of the cells which are towards the outer side of that plant part, it may be a root or it may be a stem, starts working as an epidermal cells. Just inside the epidermal cells, cells now become cortical cells. right? Some of the cells are differentiated to form xylem elements. Some of the cell differentiated to form phloem elements. So this phase is nothing but phase of cell maturation. Now cell get matured, differentiated, and it starts performing a specific function. So it is the phase when the cell starts performing its function, the growth becomes steady, growth becomes stationary. Okay. Now further increase in the length, further increase in the size, further increase in the mass is not possible. So it is the phase where the growth rate of that cell becomes steady. So this phase is also known as steady phase or stationary phase. In case of any living organism, these are very common three phases, especially in plants, right? First phase, cell division, where cells are continuously dividing, huge number of daughter cells are formed, right? But the growth as such much is not observed, and hence it is a slow phase of growth. But it is the phase where cells potentially make itself able to enter into the next phase where the growth may occur rapidly, and that is nothing but the phase of cell elongation, where cells lost the ability of cell division, they literally increases in the size, protoplasmic content increases, cytoplasmic modifications takes place, and it is the phase where the growth occurs very fast, so log or exponential phase. And now the third phase where the cell becomes permanent with respect to size, shape, structure, and it differentiates to perform a specific function where the growth becomes steady, so steady or stationary phase. So if suppose a cell is differentiated as xylem, if a cell is differentiated as epidermal cell or cortical cell, later after differentiation, cell may perform its function for few days, for few months, even for few years, right? And then gradually maturation phase leads to cause senescence. Senescence means now cell starts its aging process. Now it become old. म्हणजे आपली पण ग्रोथ तशीच होते. आपण आधी लहान असतो, नंतर साईज मध्ये, हाईट मध्ये वाढतो, नंतर आपण थोडंसं मॅच्युअर होतो, राईट? आणि मग हळूहळू हळू एजिंग व्हायला सुरुवात होते, राईट? एजिंग म्हणजे ओल्डनेस, राईट? टू बिकम ओल्ड, दिस प्रोसेस स्टार्ट्स. So this is nothing but senescence. So maturation phase leads to senescence phase where the cell starts aging, and senescence leads to death of that cell. So senescence ultimately results in death of that cell, organ or organism. So these are phases of growth. What are the three main phases? Phase of cell division, phase of cell elongation, and phase of cell maturation. And on an average, in most of living organisms, these three phases of growth can be very well observed. Okay? Right? Now, after this, let's see what happened. Right? So, growth rate. So what is growth rate? It is increase in the size of the cell per unit time. That is known as growth rate or efficiency index, right? So growth rate per unit time is nothing but efficiency index. So growth rate means what? Increase in the size of cell per unit time. So this is nothing but growth rate, right? And what is efficiency index? Efficiency index means growth rate per unit time, or it is also known as growth rate, right? That is increase in the cell, increase in the size of the cell per unit time is nothing but efficiency index or growth rate. Now when we draw the rate of growth against time, we will get a sigmoid growth curve, right? So what is growth curve? So growth curve means growth rate against time gives sigmoid or S-shaped growth curve. So let's see how this S-shaped growth curve is obtained. So this is time and this is rate of growth or growth rate. So when we draw growth rate against the time, we get this kind of growth curve. So it is known as sigmoid growth curve. Now in the sigmoid growth curve, this phase is known as lag phase, right? This is called log or exponential phase. And this where the growth rate becomes steady, it is known as steady or stationary phase. So right now we have seen three phases of growth and all these three phases corresponds these three phases. Okay, so let's see. In most of living organisms or in the growth curve which is obtained after plotting the growth rate against the time, that is sigmoid growth curve or S-shaped growth curve. So there are three phases of this growth curve: lag phase, log or exponential phase, and steady phase. See, in this initial phase, right, how the growth occurs, only number of daughter cells increases, but much increase in the length, in the height is not observed. So here the growth is very slow. It takes a very long time to attain a very small growth in this phase. Okay. Why? Because cells are continuously absorbing nutrients and cells are continuously dividing. So number of new cells formed are more, but increase in the length is not observed. Same as that of phase of cell division. As the growth is very slow, it is known as lag phase. So sigmoid growth curve actually have three phases: lag phase, then log or exponential phase, and steady or stationary phase, which corresponds to phase of cell division, phase of cell elongation, and phase of cell maturation respectively. Okay, so this is first phase, lag phase. Now cells are potentially ready to enter into the next phase of growth, which is very fast. Rapid growth occurs in this phase. See how the curve goes. It increases steadily and very fast. Okay, so here you may observe the straight line, right? Okay, linear growth mostly, right? So this is the phase where cells are continuously increasing the size. They absorb more and more amount of nutrients and they are very fast growing, right? Literally visual increase in the plant part is observed. So this phase is log or exponential phase. Log means where the growth occurs very fast. Okay. But now the third phase comes where cell lost the ability of cell division, become permanent with respect to size, shape, structure, and they undergo differentiation to perform a specific function. And hence the growth rate becomes steady. So this phase is steady or stationary phase. Is it clear? So in most of living organisms, such a kind of sigmoid growth curve is observed, where initially the growth is very slow, then later it becomes very fast, and finally it becomes steady or stationary. Okay, and this stationary phase leads to cause senescence, and senescence ultimately leads to cause death of that cell, organ or organism. Is it clear? So this is sigmoid growth curve. There is another growth curve even present in some specific organism or in some specific plant parts, that is linear growth curve. Linear growth means or J-shaped growth. एक तर असा असतो किंवा linear straight line, right? So linear growth curve. It is not given in your book, but you can understand the concept, right? Linear growth means what? Continuous increase in the size, mass, volume, etc. of an organism is observed. Such a kind of growth is possible where again we may draw growth rate against the time. Okay, is this kind of growth is possible? So it is mainly observed in bacterial cell culture. Bacterial cell culture under ideal condition. Under ideal condition. That is when we grow bacteria in the laboratory in a culture medium. So we'll have to provide nutrients for this bacteria. Then bacterial cell may grow continuously. They may increase continuously in the number and show the linear growth curve. Is it clear? Okay. So linear growth curve means continuous increase. Whereas sigmoid growth curve means first phase is slow phase of growth, then rapid phase of growth, and then the growth rate becomes stationary or steady. Is it clear? So these are the growth curves observed, right? Linear च्या ऐवजी काही ठिकाणी तुम्हाला J shaped growth curve पण मिळतो. It means initially slow but later it become continuously increasing, right? So these are two types of growth curve. With respect to this, now let's see the aspects of growth. That is, two types of growth occurs: arithmetic growth and geometric growth. So how this growth occurs in plants especially, right? Now, arithmetic growth rate, which is described as AGR. So arithmetic growth rate means what? It is the total increase in the size, mass, volume of a cell organ organism per unit time. Total increase per unit time represent, absolute growth rate. It is known as absolute growth rate. Absolute growth rate, right? So that is AGR. What it is? It is total increase. Total increase per unit time. Total increase in size or mass per unit time. Per unit time. Or it is also represented as, it is the ratio of change in the number of cells to that of change in the time. So AGR equal to dN upon dt, right? This new equation is given in new state board book. हे NCERT मध्ये नाही आहे. त्याचा अर्थ काय आहे? So it is the ratio of change in the number of cell with that of change in the time. So when we draw like this, you will get AGR, that is absolute growth rate. अगदी सोप्या भाषेमध्ये absolute growth rate means what? It is the total increase in the size, shape, mass, volume, height, length, whatever it may be per unit time represent absolute growth rate. म्हणजे समजा मी माझ्या बॉडीचं टोटल वेट केलं, that represents absolute growth rate. Okay? Then what is this relative growth rate? Relative growth rate, that is RGR. So relative growth means what? First of all, it is the increase in the size of a specific plant part on common basis per unit time, right? Means what? Relative growth is always expressed in comparison. म्हणजे समजा आपण एखाद्या प्लांटची हाईट मोजली, स्टेमची, मेन स्टेमची, राइट? So that is total increase in the height of that plant. So that is absolute growth rate. But when we measure the length of a branch of that plant, right? How we can describe the length of that branch? We may describe like this: if the total length of the plant is this one, then one of the branch has the length this one, right? So we are always comparing the growth. That is known as relative growth rate. So increase in the size of a specific plant part on common basis per unit time, that is nothing but relative growth rate. Okay? Increase in the size of a part on common basis per unit time represents relative growth rate. It is described or it is calculated as it is increase in the cell number which is divided by total number of cell, that gives you RGR, that is relative growth rate. फक्त हे इक्वेशन एकदा नीट बघून घ्या, नवीन स्टेट बोर्ड बुक मध्ये दिलेले आहे. RGR can be calculated, तुम्ही याला असे म्हणू शकता की RGR can be calculated by when you divide the absolute growth rate by the total number of cells that particular plant part. So that gives you RGR, right? So in simple word, relative growth rate means what? समजा मी माझ्या बॉडीचं पूर्ण वेट केलं, सो दॅट रिप्रेझेंट्स टोटल इन्क्रीज इन माय वेट आफ्टर सम स्पेसिफिक टाइम पिरियड. समजा मी 1 महिना 2 महिना टाइम पिरियड दिला आणि मी माझ्या बॉडीचं कम्प्लीट वेट केलं, सो दॅट इज नोन ॲज टोटल इन्क्रीज, सो ॲब्सोल्यूट ग्रोथ रेट. पण मी माझ्या फक्त हाताचं वेट केलं, हाऊ वन कॅन डिस्क्राईब दिस? जेव्हा माझ्या बॉडीचं वेट एवढं आहे तेव्हा माझ्या हाताचं वेट इतकं आहे. सो दिस इज द रिलेटिव्ह ग्रोथ रेट. इज इट क्लिअर? So there is one classical example given in NCERT to describe this absolute growth rate and relative growth rate. So let's see what is that example, right? So very simple. आता समजताना कदाचित हे तुम्हाला थोडंसं अवघड वाटेल, पण आपण बघूया with the help of this example you can easily understand the concept, right? Now these two new equations are given in your state board book, so I am giving this. Otherwise it's very simple. Total increase per unit time, that is absolute growth or absolute growth rate, and increase in the size of a plant part on a common basis per unit time, that is relative growth. Okay, relative growth is always described in comparative manner, right? So what is the example? Suppose we select 2 leaves on a plant, right? This is suppose A leaf and this is B leaf. Can you observe any difference? A leaf is smaller in size as compared to B leaf. Okay. Now initially this A leaf has the surface area that is 5 centimeter square or 5 square centimeter, and initially this B leaf is having surface area 50 centimeter square. Okay. Now we may provide specific time period for growth in these leaves which are definitely attached to the plant, कारण जर हे लीफ आपण तोडून दिलं त्याच्यामध्ये ग्रोथ होणार नाही. सो एकाच प्लांटवरती 2 लीफ सिलेक्ट करायचे, एक छोटा असेल साईजमध्ये आणि दुसरं मोठा असेल. छोट्या लीफचा म्हणजे ए लीफचा सरफेस एरिया किती आहे? 5 स्क्वेअर सेंटीमीटर, दॅट इज सेंटीमीटर स्क्वेअर, अँड लार्जर लीफचा आहे 50 सेंटीमीटर स्क्वेअर. ओके. नाव आफ्टर स्पेसिफिक टाइम पिरियड, समजा आपण 1 आठवडा दिला किंवा 2 वीक्स, वी आर गिविंग 2 वीक्स or 1 week for the growth of these leaves, and after 1 week when we observe the size of this A leaf, that become this much. Okay, and when we observe the size of B leaf, that become this much, right? Now after a specific time period, now the surface area of A leaf become 10 centimeter square and the surface area of B leaf become 55 centimeter square. Okay, लक्षात येतंय? Now what happens? The total increase in the surface area of A and B leaf is the same, which is nothing but absolute growth rate. After 1 week, surface area in A leaf is increases by 5 square centimeter and surface area in B leaf also increases by 5 सेंटीमीटर स्क्वेअर. दोन्हीमध्ये पण कितीची वाढ झाली? 5 सेंटीमीटर स्क्वेअर. म्हणजे या दोघांची ॲब्सोल्यूट ग्रोथ किती आहे? सेम आहे. इज इट क्लिअर? डू यू अंडरस्टँड दिस? राईट. सो आफ्टर अ स्पेसिफिक टाइम पिरियड बोथ A and B leaf shows same absolute growth rate. Both the leaves increases by 5 square centimeter. So they show the total increase in the growth or in the surface area per unit time, that is same 5 square centimeter. Okay, but what about relative growth? Relative growth of A leaf is more than the relative growth of B leaf, or relative growth of B leaf is less than the relative growth of A leaf. कसं काय? Because here in A leaf the original size is smaller one and after specific time period that get doubled, so growth is 100%. no? बरोबर आहे की नाही? 5 स्क्वेअर सेंटीमीटरचं 10 स्क्वेअर सेंटीमीटर झालं म्हणजे अगदी डबल झाला, म्हणजे ग्रोथ फुल झाली 100%. But in case of B leaf, its original size is larger one, so there is not much scope of having maximum growth, right? So the growth in this case is obviously only 20% as compared to A leaf. Is it clear? Why? Because original surface area is more, so much increase is not possible in the surface area of B leaf, right? सो जर दोन्हीचं कंपॅरिझन केलं तर मॅक्झिमम रिलेटिव्ह ग्रोथ कुणामध्ये दिसते? ए लीफ मध्ये, कारण ती डबल झाली म्हणजे 100% ग्रोथ झाली आहे. पण इथे मात्र ओरिजिनल साईजच्या मानाने जी साईज इन्क्रीज दॅट इज व्हेरी लेस, सो ओनली 10 or 20% ग्रोथ अकर्स इन बी लीफ, राईट? So absolute growth rate in A and B leaf is same after some specific time period, but the relative growth of A is more than the relative growth of B, or relative growth of B leaf is less than the relative growth of A. Is it clear? So this is the difference in absolute growth rate and relative growth rate. Is it clear? Okay? म्हणजे relative growth जर एक्सप्रेस करायची असेल तर ती नेहमी आपल्याला कशी करावी लागते? In comparative manner, because it is always on a common basis. So we may compare the growth in this case, but there is no comparison required for absolute growth because it is always nothing but total increase in the size of that organ, organism or cell per unit time. Whereas relative growth is always described on a common basis per unit time. Hence it is always comparable, comparative, whereas absolute growth is not comparative. Is it clear? Okay. So rest we'll discuss in next lecture. So have a good day and be safe at home. Bye bye.